episode 1 of the brand in demand, and the structure and the concept of this live, whether you're on video now, you're interacting, you're part of this, or maybe you're listening on audio for the podcast version or the long form video on YouTube. The first 20 minutes is we're talking through one topic and going deep on it. And it's one thing related to content marketing and branding that will help you drive revenue and grow your business, create a brand in demand, hence the name. And so the last 10 minutes is community participation Q&A, because that part's really important to me. And I've got kind of an exercise that we'll do at the end with this one if we've got time. I think we will. So episode number 1, this is all about clarifying your brand message. As I mentioned before, if you guys haven't read the book, Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller, I highly recommend it. A lot of stuff that we're covering today is either closely related to that book or from that book or based on the book at some point. Even those stories have been told and those frameworks have been around for thousands of years. So brand's a big topic. It sometimes can be confusing. And so we only have 30 minutes, actually 25 now. And so I want to make sure you guys leave here with like the one thing that I thought would create a domino effect in helping you clarify your brand message so your clients listen and are more likely to buy from you, especially on places like LinkedIn. So, because most of the time, if you think about it, it's not the person or the company with the best product or service who wins the customer. It's who got in front of them and presented the best message, or content, let's say, and spoke to what they actually cared about. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And again, you can apply this to anything marketing related, your LinkedIn profile. I guarantee you'll look at your LinkedIn profile differently after this session. Guarantee it. You'll think about your content differently. You'll probably look at your website and reevaluate things. That's just how powerful this stuff is. So this one domino effect is clarifying your brand message by approaching it from the framework of a story. And so it's crafting your brand message as an open loop story that your potential clients see themselves in. They have a problem. They meet you, the guide, you give them the plan, you call them into action. The client rises up and becomes the hero. We've all probably heard something similar to that before, but that's not what we're talking about today. We're going even deeper than that. So let's break this down. And then, like I said, hopefully we'll have time for a quick exercise at the end if someone's brave enough to volunteer. So every story that you're going to invite your customer into has a problem or a pain point, right? So that's just part of the story framework. You can't really have a great story without the villain, is what we would call it. Okay. So, and then that's where the problems start. Every story needs one. And it's actually the reason your audience or customer will be hooked into the story to begin with. The villain isn't necessarily a person. It could be technology. It could be a process. It could be outdated or inferior way of doing something, but there's got to be that one core villain. Has anyone here seen that Netflix movie, Don't Look Up, with Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer?
I've heard about it, but I hear it's pretty good. Yeah. Yeah.
Did anyone seen it? No. So just to give you a quick background, and same thing for any movies, the Don't Look Up movie, the premise is that there's a big comet that's going to hit Earth, right? Or if you've seen The Matrix, it's, oh my gosh, the freaking robots are coming from us. They're going to trap us, control us, and then squeeze us for energy. That's the villain, right? And so would we go watch the Matrix movie if there was no robots and there was nothing that was going to harm the humans? No. What would the movie even be about, right? Same with Star Wars. If there wasn't the evil empire, it'd be Luke just like lifting rocks up and moving them around. It wouldn't be any fun, right? So we have to have somebody, and all of your customers have that villain or problem. We're going to talk about that. So inside the core villain, there's one core villain, but there's 3 types of problems that the hero in the story or your client is looking to solve as a result from this one core villain or problem. And the first one is external. We're going to cover examples so you guys know exactly what I mean here. The first one is external. Usually it's something super obvious. It's tangible. It's maybe even on the outside. It could even be something physical. That problem, the external problem, usually creates an internal problem with your customer. So that's some type of dialogue or concern that they have in their minds as they're walking through this problem. And again, I have examples, so this makes sense. So if you think about what Apple did way back in the day, which massive, just brilliant marketing move that they did that most people don't even realize. They had ad campaigns and marketing campaigns. People were confused by computers in the beginning. Remember, they looked all clunky and like no one knows how to use it. And you dial it up like, that was computer. Like I remember we literally had a friend, my dad's friend came over and showed us how to like navigate through the computer. Like, and we were sitting around like, do you just click it? Like, what do you do? Like, that's how confusing shit was with computers. So what Apple did is they recognized that, and they came out with something that was super simple, right? And that's the kind of the basis of what they do. There's not many buttons. It's like super simple to operate, but it's reliable technology. They had a marketing campaign, an ad campaign that showed two different people. And one of them was talking about all these bells and whistles and the things on the computer, the confusing stuff. The other person was using an Apple, and they were just like, it was the simplest thing ever. And the marketing message was that, hey, we're just trying to, like, I think it was the person like using the computer or something to take pictures or whatever it was, enjoying life, using technology that's simple, easy, and effective. Meanwhile, this other person is out here trying to, navigate through all these different things. So they knew the internal problem that the customer was faced with. It wasn't just, we need a computer. Yep, that's the external. But the internal was like, am I going to figure out how to work this thing? Like, am I going to hire somebody? Like, is it going to really improve my life? Like, it's going to be more of a problem than it is a solution. They got to the core of that internal problem. Then you've got the third one is the philosophical problem. And that's more of like the moral or issue or dilemma that person's going to be faced with. So an example, right, that we all know, I mean, I'd be shocked if somebody didn't know this, but Star Wars, right? I mean, everyone knows Star Wars. So when Luke shoots that, and if you don't know the exact scene, it's fine. But Luke, the hero, shoots that like photon torpedo into that small hole in the Death Star, and then it blows up. He actually solved 3 problems. He had the villain, which was the evil empire. The external problem was he needed to destroy that Death Star, that big ship. The internal problem was he was kind of wondering if he had what it takes to be a Jedi, right? He still wasn't 100% sure. And then the philosophical problem he solved was good versus evil, right? Like, I got to do the right thing for our universe. I got to save the people. Tesla, another example. The villain, gas guzzling, inferior technology. The external problem or thing that someone would have to face, I need a car. The internal problem is I want to be an early adapter of new technology. And then if we go philosophical, I want my choice of car to help contribute to our environment. Right. So if you look at my business impacts marketing, my customer's villain oftentimes, you guys all, right, is obscurity, just being unknown. Just not enough of the right people know who you are. If they did, they'd buy from you, because I know all of you guys for the most part, and y'all have great products and services. The question is, do the right people just know about you? Do they understand what you represent, what you bring to the table, and how you can help them? So the external problem may be, I need to create more video content. I need to create more content. But internally, a lot of people are struggling with, I'm not sure if I'm a content creator. Like, what are people going to say? Self-doubt, lack of confidence, insecurities, those things kick in, as we all know. We've all gone through that. And then a philosophical problem could be, am I going to get left behind if I don't build my brand on social? This new kind of wave of what's happening in the business world. Now, maybe you want to be seen as an industry leader, as an early adapter, things like that. So let's get in, actually flew through that pretty quickly. Let's get into, I want to do a couple examples here, because I think walking through someone's actual business and customer like really, really helps bring this out. Does anyone want to volunteer and just kind of walk through villain, internal, external, and philosophical?
I wouldn't mind if you don't. It's okay.
Let's do it. Beautiful, yeah. Beautiful. So what do you think the villain is? So actually clarify really quickly, Pierre, what is your business and what do you do?
Yeah. So we do recruiting in the IT software in North America and Europe, and we help companies hire marketing, biz development, engineering, and sales type roles, essentially, right? So the villain, I mean, the unemployment rate is -7% these days, right? So consequently, right after, right up to at the end of the pandemic, well, and there's no end in sight, but in the last year or so, companies have not been able to find the talent they need, and they've been struggling. So that's probably the external villain, the outside pain point, like you talked about.
So give me, so really quickly, I love where you're going with this. What is the core villain? Like either one word or a couple words in a phrase. What is the villain?
We got products to sell. We have revenues to reach. We have customers screaming they want support, and there's a lot of opportunity out there, and we're not closing the business, right? Maybe one of those.
So that's the result of the villain or a problem, right? Similar to, I could say,
Oh yeah.
I don't have the time to create content. I don't have the budget. I don't know what to
Okay.
say, right? But that's not the actual villain. Anyone want to jump in what they think the villain might be for Pierre and the staffing company?
They need to hire. They need help to fulfill.
There's not enough talent out there, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. That is a legitimate villain, a lack of talent.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say unemployment rate, because then it's a little bit harder to make that connection between that and talent.
Right.
But I would say a lack of qualified talent, in the workforce, right?
Right.
Smaller workforce.
Okay.
That's the villain, right? So now how does that show up in the external problem? What would they say? Super simple. I need to what?
We need to hire.
I need to hire. Yeah, I need people.
Right.
I need people, right?
External. Okay.
Yep. Now, what would the internal problem be?
The internal problem.
What are they thinking in their minds?
Oh, this is going to cost me. I hear that. Onboarding people, training people, coming up to speed internally.
Anyone want to jump in?
How about, hey, we still have to fulfill. How are we going to do it with the lack of people that we have, or with this small group that we have? So how are we going to get this done no matter what?
Limited resources. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. I would think another internal problem that they're thinking about too is, am I going to hire the right person? Like, am I going to hire the wrong person and mess up things for my company or the team? Right.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Also, how do we attract the right person? How do we get them to come see us instead of somebody else?
Right.
Yep.
Definitely.
So now this is going to be fun. Pierre, if you're okay with it, I didn't tell him I was going to do this, but let's go through your link. So like, I'm always about application, right? How can we take this? And then where do we go from here? What do you do from this? If I'm you guys, this is what I've done. I'd look at my LinkedIn profile. I'd look at my headline. I'd probably take a look at my website. I'd think about the content that I'm putting out. Because think about this, guys, if I could put out content and be like, to talk all day about just video stuff. But if I don't understand the internal problem and the philosophical problem and I talk about that a lot, like, don't, fall behind the times, or, hey, I know you're doubting yourself with your content. I understand. And here's what you can do. Oh, and I'm talking about external problems too. Like, how do you make better videos? If you can address those three, you're going to convert more of your content into your clients. The same way when someone lands on your LinkedIn page or your website, if it's tailored to those problems and you're speaking directly to your clients in their language, and it's clear, it's not fancy industry stuff, it's not too high level, they don't read a paragraph and then think, okay, so how can you help me again? Right? It's not going to convert because the message just isn't reaching out to them and pulling them in. So that's action items. I'd be looking at all that stuff when you leave here. And the framework should help you kind of through that. But if we take a look at, like, let's say, for example, Pierre, I know you probably have some work to do on the profile. But if we think about headline, embedded, IoT, app, cybersecurity, none of this is speaking to that customer, right?
It talks to the markets that they belong to, but you're right. It's not talking to the customer, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So same here, because are you trying to attract clients, right? Which is companies that are wanting to hire for those positions, right?
Right.
Right. So, going right here, embedded IoT, SaaS, app security, since 2001, we've been working with companies that are changing the world, bringing their sales engineering. So right away, there's nothing that reached out and spoke directly to me. Right. So not that those positions couldn't be in there somewhere, like our areas of specialization, that's fine. And I think you want to notate that this is your niche and this is what you hire for, but you'd want to jump out and say something that really speaks to that audience. Like, how it feels like impossible to hire the right candidate in the technical fields.
Okay.
You got your job openings on Indeed, but the people that reach out, they're just not the right people. You end up going through 20 interviews to find one candidate that doesn't even end up working out. Yeah, that's where we come in,
So you're saying highlight the pain points pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. And then not only highlight the pain points, but don't go too deep on it, right? You don't want to go a page long on just So you have this problem, that problem. Identify the core problem or problems, right? And then go into, this is how we can help you.
Right. Like one of my clients said the other day, we've interviewed 25 people. We have nothing to show for. Right.
It'd be a great headline.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Now that you think about it.
So problem, right? Pain points, villain, and then getting into, this is how we can help you. We've got the solution for you. And then on the back half of that is, what does the end result look like for them?
Okay.
Painting the picture of a brighter future for that hero to be in the story. So not that mine's like perfect or anything. I think the profile is a living, breathing document. You always can make changes. I go right into, you ever notice how most entrepreneurs struggle to use video content to drive revenue and grow their business? And a lot of my clientele, that's what's happening, right? So the idea of trying to make time for something like this seems almost impossible when you're running a business, right? Maybe you even tried it before, but it never really converted to actual revenue for some reason. Well, that's where we come in. We help business. So I got the problem. Then that's where we come in. Now the solution, we help business owners and their teams use video content to build a brand, generate revenue. We not only help you create the perfect video strategy and process for you and your business, but we also help you create and edit the content as well. Imagine, now I'm starting to get into the desired results or the vision of what a good future would look like, because I want to take them there mentally. Imagine you spending 1 hour once a month on video and having enough content to last 30 plus days. I know that headline right there works because I've tested it out in my comment section of my LinkedIn post. And I've won customers from it, but I've also had a ton of people just say, man, this offer looks amazing. Because why? I don't get into, we do this with our editing. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to make it look really cool. I just get into, hey, imagine sitting down, spending 1 hour once a month on video and have enough content to last 30 plus days. That's appealing because it knocks out a couple different struggles. One is the time to do it. The other one is they feel like we're doing it together. So it kind of lessens the insecurities or I don't know what to say, or I don't know how to structure this, or what if it sucks? Because we're kind of handling a lot of it for them. And they start getting the results. They get to post the videos. They're just ready to go, right? And that builds brand and creates opportunities, wins clients. I even take a step further and I go, and then this happens. Your dream clients start reaching out to you. You start getting asked to speak at industry events. Top talents run into your company for opportunities because they're constantly they see you in the feed all the time. Everyone knows been putting out content consistently for a while, knows this is what happens, right? If you do it right. And so and then I kind of take the philosophical approach that maybe somebody might be out there thinking, I think that this is just like really, it's just hard. It's just like a hard process. It's way too hard to do. I don't know if it's for me. And I said, you should, creating video content shouldn't be so time consuming, stressful, and unproductive. You should be able to have a steady stream of videos that help you share your brand story with the world, all while you're running your business. That's exactly what we do at Impacts Marketing. Hop over to our website now and sign up with us. This is something I've changed. And just to bring it up, not to go, we've got a few minutes left. The call to action, and there's a lot of different things you could do. You could book a call, you could do a lot of different things, but I've decided to put my pricing and my services on the front page of my website. So I got a video on there. If you go to it, it's a new video. And there's a couple lines, because if you put too much text on your web, no one's going to read it anyways. There's a video. We'll see how that does. It's newer. We've got a call to action button right below that says book a call. So if someone wants to chat, great. That's how most of my clients are won, because typically it's a bigger decision, right? And then below that is the content services, which they can sign up for. They can get pricing. I like that visibility. I like the open and honestness of it. It's not for everyone. If you're doing a consulting package or something like that, it may not make sense to list that. It may be tailored to what you're going to be doing for the client. But I was on a call yesterday where I won the client, and he had discovered me through my content, and we were going through the website, and he said, who else is doing what you do? How do you stack up from your competitors? My prices were open and out there. And I even pulled up a competitor. I think it's kind of like a competitor. They don't really do what we do, but they do video editing and stuff. And I pulled up his website and I just said, here's somebody else doing video editing. Here's what it looks like they do. Here's the pricing. And I said, here's probably some differences between us two. Was trying to be objective as I possible, even though in my mind, I was like, we're way better. But I was trying to be objective, of course. But that's modern sales, that's modern marketing. It's being more open. It's speaking to your client. It's inviting them into a story that they can see themselves in and thriving and being the hero. You know, too many people are like, I do this, I do this, me. It's not about that. Your customer wants to be invited into a story. And if you guys want to see, like, so just to close the loop on this. So I've got it in there. I've got my website right there. Or if you want to chat with me about what makes sense for your business, let's do it. And if you guys want to see a video, I've done a lot of stuff like this, but if you want to see like the story brand in action through a piece of content, it's obviously an edutainment video. I did this 9 months ago, but if you watch this video, you guys have probably seen it. Maybe you haven't, but this video is kind of a representation of that customer hero journey. Customer comes in, Wild West. What the hell is social media? How do I find results here? Is it a big waste of time? He goes through, he starts experiencing some other shitty people that don't know how to do the job right. And then he meets the guide. And the guide isn't the hero, but the guide shows him some things. Let me give you a plan of action, some perspective, some things that could help you. And then in turn, that customer makes a decision to move forward and you don't get to see the whole story, but they ride off in the sunset, right? And so this stuff literally can show up and should show up kind of everywhere.
Good example.
But so guys, I hope that helps. I know we're up on time, but I appreciate you guys joining for the live session 1. We're going to be doing these every single week. Next week, we're coming back. I think what we're going to do is talk breaking down a macro piece of content to micro content. It's actually a big time saver, but there's a method to the madness. And it's actually something that took me a while to learn. And now I've kind of got it down where I want to share it with other people. So that's next week. I'll send out more information about that. But I appreciate you guys being here, and I'll get the recording up on YouTube, and then we'll get some micro stuff chopped up too.
Awesome, man. Good stuff.
Awesome,
today,
guys.
Alex.
Thank
Thanks.
you so much. I appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, Alex.
Take care.
Okay.